Time for another episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder, and I send this message to all Autobots who are among the stars. We are here. We are waiting. How did the closing monologue from Transformers get into my brain? I don't entirely know. But some background. I am a comedian. I want to make a living as a comedian. I enjoy comedianing. I enjoy comedy. I enjoy comedianing. I like to comedianing. I like to comedian around. Just enjoy comedianing around. And my dream is to go on tour and headline. So I figure the whole point of this podcast is if I need to learn how to do an hour, I'm just going to record myself doing an hour and get to the point where I think it's funny. And then maybe one day this will transition into other people listening to me, and they'll say, well, it was pretty good. It was decent. It was quite decent. I don't know what person that is that's seeing me do stand-up. It feels like a very, very old farmer. I've been attending this farm for 200 years. People don't believe me. They think I'm close to 87 years old. I tell them I am 200 years on the dot on November 1st. And I don't normally go to comedy clubs. I don't normally leave the farm. I have to tend the farm. I don't like leaving the farm. If I leave the farm, what happens to the sheep? What happens to the sheep? But I took a night off. I went to the comedy club and I watched this. I think he was a man, and his name was Josh. And he did an hour of stand-up comedy where he talked about old men on farms and how he thinks that's the demographic that will most appeal. And for some reason, I connected with him. That probably went on far too long. So I'm lonely. I think that's what that riff tells you. Entanglement. Why am I thinking about entanglement? That popped into my head. Entanglement, which is the concept of two molecules which are not next to each other but somehow having a connection, and perhaps that explains what telepathy is. It's not so much that I'm picking up on other people's thoughts, it's that somehow our brains are connected in ways we don't quite understand yet. I watched this on some newfangled science-based series several years ago, and this notion of entanglement sticks with me. This notion that there are aspects of science and of the universe that we have no understanding of, and I feel like if we did, we could probably maybe control our digestion better. At least I could. That would be nice if I could just have a pizza with cheese and somehow call to the universe and say, let's not make me sick on this one. And the universe says, well, whatever you say. Whatever you say, Mr. Josh, whatever you say. I'm the universe. I've been around for 200 trillion years, but people think it's less than that. They would think I'm only 80 years old. And somehow I connect with Josh. But yes, so that's what this is. And I've been racking my brain trying to come up with I need to come up with content. I need to come up with content that people want. What is the content that people want? What is the content that people want? And I keep running into this brick wall, metaphorically, not literally. I'm not that down and depressed yet, but we'll get there. We'll see. I enjoy a good brick wall. It always bothered me when I was growing up that we didn't live in a brick house, that we lived in a townhouse that was wood. I was afraid of fires. I was afraid of tornadoes. We did live in Colorado, in Denver. It is prone to tornadoes, though I don't think there's been an actual tornado in Denver for years. At any rate, I was concerned about that, so I was really hoping that we would live in a house that was brick that could protect us from the tornadoes, because whenever there were thunderstorms when I was growing up, I was terrified. And rightly so, because when I am told that there's a possibility that there could be a tornado, my first thought is, can we go where that is not a thing? Why are we staying here? maybe we should move to where the tornadoes are not. But no matter where you go, no matter where I go, there's always going to be danger. My parents loved the mountains. At one point, they mulled moving closer or into the foothills. Into the hills. My parents wanted to move into the hills. And I hated it. I hated that thought. I don't like being away from a city. The thing about whenever we would go to the mountains, the thing that always freaked me out is I never had a sense of where the mountain settlement ended and the mountains began, because I couldn't see the buildings. I couldn't see everything. It would be a situation where, oh yeah, the hospital's just down, just make a right past the mountain and you'll be at the hospital. I want to see the hospital. Although I've been looking for apartments, and I did look at one apartment that is across the street from a hospital, and that freaked me out. That was too close to the hospital. I'm like, what if something gets out? And what if Ebola gets out? Not that they have Ebola, but that's where they would bring someone who was maybe suffering from Ebola. What if he sneezes and it's a powerful sneeze and my window is open? You'd think I'd want to live as close to the hospital as possible. You'd think that would be a major selling point, but I just I found that too terrifying. So I'm looking for a place that's close to the hospital, but not right on top of the hospital. But every second you're away from the hospital could mean life and death. The difference between life and death. It could mean the difference between life and death, man. Passionate doctor. That's always a character. That's a character I want to play, specifically in a Jurassic Park movie. You can't mix the DNA like that. We don't know what could happen. We shouldn't be playing God. You're just you're just the accountant here. You're not actually even how are you in this meeting right now? What I'm telling you is we can't have accounts receivable and accounts payable be in the same person. One person can't do both jobs. Yes, we believe they can. We've designed a person who can do both accounts receivable and accounts payable at a corporation this big. Gentlemen, I give you the Accountosaurus Rex. Roar! He just says, that's all he says is roar. For some reason, they put dinosaur DNA into this person who they designed to do accounts receivable and accounts payable. Frankly, we think you could just do it all on QuickBooks without having to genetically engineer a half accounts a 1/3 accounts receivable, 1/3 accounts payable, 1/3 Velociraptor. That's what they created. Roar. Okay, I don't understand what you're saying, but the books are great. I mean, the account's never been cleaner. Thanks, accounts receivable, accounts payable, Raptor. Roar! Every roar sounds the same and it has the same intention, so it's hard to know if you're even communicating with me, other than I feel like all you're really saying is yes. Is that all you're saying? Roar! But he says it with such gusto. He says it with such gusto, people. He says it with such gusto. Well, we're 10 minutes into this podcast. Well, 8 minutes and 48 seconds. But I'm going to go ahead and call 10 minutes. What else happening? I saw the new He-Man cartoon that was executive produced by Kevin Smith that is currently on Netflix. I quite enjoyed it. Basically, it kind of picks off where the original 80s He-Man cartoon leaves off. And you know what? The acting is great. The animation's fantastic. They've got some really nice action beats. It is a heavily serialized, basically 5-part story, and it's only part 1 that they released. And the only thing about it, and I know it shouldn't bother me. But it bothers me. He-Man is not the main character. They made Teela the main character in at least this part of the story. It's called He-Man. He-Man Revelations. but He-Man's not really in it that much. Although I didn't realize this, but the thing on his chest, I've talked about this before. He's got this thing on his chest that looks like a backpack strap without a backpack. But I didn't realize this, but the thing on his chest has an H on it. H for He-Man. Why did I never notice that before? H for He-Man. That's what that is. In fact, he only has one item of clothing on his chest, and all it is, its only purpose is to have that H there so that people know that he's He-Man, as if the fact that he's a 10-foot tall superhuman being with a giant sword is not enough. People were getting him confused with that other 10-foot tall giant behemoth super being whose name is Ronald. No, I'm Ronald. I get it all. I know. I get it all the time. I've got the sword, and I can jump and punch things really hard. I understand the confusion, but please try to get this right. I'm Ronald. I'm going to talk to He-Man and ask him, hey, can you put something on that so people know that it's you? People keep coming asking me for help, and I keep telling them I'm too busy doing both accounts payable and accounts receivable. I don't have the time or the energy to do anything else. I mean, I'm a super being, but it's not like I was genetically engineered to do both accounts receivable and accounts payable. That kind of science is beyond me. That kind of magic is beyond me. I'm just Ronald, all right? I'm Ronald. Ronald Man. That's my name, Ronald Man. You want He-Man. You want He. I'm Ronald. It's a big difference. And because this takes place after the events of the original He-Man, they have done things to update the character's look. So Teela is now sporting this very, like warrior woman kind of, warrior woman meets kind of, 80s female rocker kind of look, like half-shaved head. She's got kind of a half-shaved head. I mean, it's a cool-looking look. But it's very, this is in Eternia where things are not good. The magic has gone from Eternia. And there's just not a lot of, the planet is dying slowly. And somehow there's people who can do really, really specific 80s hairstyles. I don't know what No, we understand Eternia is crumbling to the ground, but we here at He Stylists. By the way, we do he and she, but, the theme is he here. He-Man, Ronald Man. We could have gone with stylists man, but he stylists seemed like it rolled off the tongue better. But we've been open through all of this. We don't have as much magic as possible, so we have to, we can't always give the same kind of haircuts now. We tend to, we cause a lot more bodily harm for the haircuts we do. I mean, when we had magic, we could do a close shave. Close. Very, very close. It was the shaves that the shaves that you should have seen when we had magic. The shaves you should have seen. They were tremendous. But we don't have that energy now, so we have to, standard barbershop stuff, barbershop 101. We all went to barber college on the Eternia Barber College. He Barber College, that's what it was called. And, it's not like we don't know what we're doing. We just don't have the magic anymore. But we can still give a great haircut. And that's, just ask Teela. I'm recording this podcast in the car. I want to record it now because if I go inside, people will start talking to me and I'll have to start working again. And that's just, the car is the last place the last bastion where I can just chill, man. I just need to go someplace where I can just be at one, just be at one with the energy of the universe, which could mean entanglement. I don't entirely know. I'm not a quantum physicist, but I think I got a good gut feeling. I got a definite good gut feeling about what I think, how I think the quantum realm actually works. It's just a gut feeling. I'm not saying I'm a kind of Albert Einstein here, but I've solved a math problem or two. This is trigonometry. Back in the day, I was quite trigonometry tap dancer. That's a phrase that they should use. I know they don't use it, but they should use that phrase. You know what I mean? Okay. That's my confident guy voice, which really does. None of the voices I do, like if I try to do any voice, like in my head, I'm like, wow, this sounds so different from me. And then if I go back and I listen to it, it's like just me, but with a cold. That's all my voices really are. That's really are. Me with a cold. That is it. Now we're 15 minutes in. It's getting hot in the car. I'm trying not to scream, too. I've been really riding my voice hard. Like it's a Battle Cat from He-Man. The thing about Battle Cat that always bothered me a little bit, He-Man turns his pet tiger Cringer into Battle Cat. And when he becomes Battle Cat, he has this saddle that's just automatically there when he becomes Battle Cat. He doesn't hold the saddle anywhere. He just... Somehow the saddle magically appears. But when He-Man is not riding Battle Cat, but Battle Cat is still battling, he's still wearing the saddle, which just seems a little... disrespectful of Battle Cat. I mean, if he's in the middle of a fight, if we know that Battle Cat is about to do a prolonged fight, take off the saddle. Give him, let him breathe. Let him have some more maneuverability there. He got you there. That's all you really need to ride Battle Cat for. Once you're there, you're not going to stay on Battle Cat. Would any of you, I ask you podcast listeners, would any of you stay on Battle Cat even after you've arrived at the battle? Tweet your answers to nerdyvirgin, at nerdyvirgin. Tweet your answers or Instagram your answers to at nerdyvirgin. If you were fighting in a battle and you had Battle Cat and you arrived at the battle, so let's say the battle was 20 minutes away. Let's say, the battle's happening in Burbank, you're in North Hollywood. You ride Battle Cat to get there, but once you're there, you're not going to be on Battle Cat the entire time. You get off Battle Cat, you use the Sword of Power, and Battle Cat is there to back you up and jump in at the last minute and tackle someone who's just about to stab you. That's what Battle Cat, he waits until you're just about to die, and then he saves the day at the last minute. And then he goes to try to save the day again, and then he gets knocked unconscious. That's Battle Cat's dramatic function in every He-Man cartoon or movie. In fact, that is the action beat for every loyal dog, animal servant of any kind. Right when you're about to die, the loyal dog, animal servant saves you, and then tries to fight the bad guy and then gets knocked down by the bad guy. And then you look and you're like, oh my God, he knocked over Battle Cat? Now I'm angry. Now He-Man is angry. So angry I need to take this H off of my chest because my chest is just exploding with anger. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand where I'm coming from with this? Do you really understand where I'm coming from with this? I'd like you to think that you do. I'd like to think that you understand where I'm coming from with this. I'm starting to sound like Wallace Shawn. That hurt my voice. I felt that. I better not do that again. I need to be supporting my vocal cords. I should probably also not be talking on the mic on the phone. So I'm in the process of, I put a deposit down in one apartment. Then the next day I found an apartment I really loved. And I think I might go for that one, which means I'm probably going to lose the deposit on the first apartment, which is terrible. But I have to do this, I think. Assuming the guy calls me back, which we'll see if they do or they don't. If they don't, it might be a moot point. They might have sold it already. Maybe somebody else grabbed it. That's fair. It's fine. It happens. I still have this other place. That's good to know. But at least I will have tried. At least, my friends, I will have tried. And the coronavirus situation is stressing me out very much because I can't tell if we're going to be locked down again or not. That's the $64,000 question. I think that the policymakers, I'm tired of talking about it. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to make of it. the people who are dying are not vaccinated, mostly. 99% of the people who are dying are not vaccinated. And still, people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I should get it or not. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I should get it or not. Oh, I don't know. Marvin, I don't know if I should get it or not, Marvin. I don't understand this. I simply don't understand this. Get the shot. Please get the shot. We don't want to close down again. Get the shot. Get this out of the way so we can get the next pandemic coming. Maybe the next disaster, I've said this before, I'll say this again. It would be nice if the next global disaster was the opposite, where the only thing we could do is go to live performance venues. That was the only way to survive. No, you have to see comedy twice a day or you're going to die. That's what this virus does. This virus that was somehow created by Jim Gaffigan, apparently. You must see comedy or you will die. No one would have thought it was Jim Gaffigan who created the virus. No one would have suspected. They would have suspected this coming from, one of the bad boys of comedy. But not Jim Gaffigan. Why would Jim Gaffigan do this? Because he likes his stage time. That's why. But that's what's happening right now, trying to figure out if I can get this apartment or not. And I'm not looking. I know that the person who I gave the deposit to, I just feel that they're going to get angry, and I just don't want to go through being yelled at. And I'm realizing how much of my life am I living? How much of my life is lived in the avoidance of getting yelled at? The more I start to think about it, everything I do, the goal is not to get yelled at. That is what I make decisions based off of that, and that's ridiculous. I need to stop doing that. I need to start making decisions. I need to start following my heart. I need to follow my heart, his heart, and let my heart tell me where I need to go. Turn left at the next light. My heart sounds a little bit like Siri giving directions. After 5 miles, the destination is on your right. I love when your heart speaks to me. You have 5 minutes to move your car. All right, now I'm just being silly. I had a couple of sets last night. First one was good. Second one was, the second one was quite awful. It was an awful set, but I had fun anyway. It was kind of nice. I didn't do well at all, but I had fun, and eventually I warmed the audience up. That was a tight crowd last night. A very tight crowd. But we're still working it out, America. America, we're still working it out. America? Hey, America, it's Josh. We're still working it out. Hey, America, it's Josh calling. What's the plan with the vaccines and the hesitancy and the what have you? What are you thinking? America, this is Josh. Hey, America, it's Josh. Just leaving a message. It's currently 12:31 on July 24th, and I was just wondering what we're going to be doing about the high levels of vaccine hesitancy that may cause us to close down again. Just give me a call back. Let's touch base. Let's circle back. Let's have a confab. Let's talk about it. Let's chat. That'd be great. Just give me a call back. Anytime. I'm available after 10 before 7. Anytime, Monday through Friday, America. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Feeling very stream of consciousness today. Or should I say stream of Joshishness? Can I trademark that? I'm looking at the toothpaste that I'm just purchased. It is Arm & Hammer toothpaste. Arm & Hammer. And the tagline for Arm & Hammer, or their slogan, is something about, the quest for purity. And I read that, and I went right to Hitler. That is right where I went. The quest for purity. Hitler, racial purity, ethnic cleansing. That's right where I went. And I don't think that's Arm & Hammer's agenda. They just want things to be clean. I recognize that, but the word purity is a little bit loaded for me personally. I hear purity and I go, I'll be in the attic. Thank you very much. Okay, time to flee. The name of the toothpaste is Peroxicare. It's Peroxicare toothpaste, Peroxicare, which we can do in this world of capitalism. We can create anything that we want. We can create words to sell products. Peroxicare. Well, I know that it's a noun, but is that what we're doing? Peroxicare? We're just combining words to sell things. That's fair. We can do that. Is that a car? No, it's a car passion. It's a car passion. It's a car passionate car. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it does. It's a car that's made 100% out of hemp, so it's called Car Passion. And I sit here and I'm joking, and I swear to you that's going to be a car in 5 years. Car Passion. What are you driving? I'm driving the new Car Passion. It's made 100% out of hemp. What's it like? It doesn't work at all. It's hemp cloth. You sit in it and you make vroom sounds, but there's no carbon footprint. But we can do that with any product. I'm walking around outside because it's too hot in my car. It's too hot. All my manliness is just, it's more than I can bear. All my manliness. I'm walking around the parking lot right now as people are parking. And for all they don't know what I'm doing. I could be talking on the phone. You know what? They don't care. They're too absolved. Yeah, they wish they could be absolved. They're too absorbed in their own lives, worried about what they're doing, where they're going. What am I going to have for dinner? Will she love me? Does she love me? Does she not love me? She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. That thing with the flower. Who was the first person to do that? And did it work? My guess is it may have worked and it may not have worked. And if we talk about entanglement, maybe if somebody says she loves me not, she loves me not with a bunch of flower petals, maybe on some cosmic level they are manifesting whatever they want with this other person to love them or not love them. I've never done that with a flower. I don't think it's right to do that to a flower. Even though I think the flower, you don't kill the plant. But can you imagine that somebody comes up to your body and just starts plucking hairs off of your skull? He loves me not. I'm like, excuse me, I'm in the middle of living here. Can you not do that, please? Can you take your emotional baggage somewhere else? Can you not dump your emotional baggage on me? Bees are buzzing around. What are they doing? We need to pollinate that. What is he doing? Oh, he's debating whether or not this other person loves. He's creating a ritual. That's what he's doing. He's creating a ritual. Kind of a magic ritual. Uh-oh. We've got someone with a big engine and a little you-know-what. Interrupting my bee riff. Can you believe it? I want to see what kind of car this is, that they're making this much noise. I think it's one of those small sports cars. Is it really necessary? Is it really necessary to do that? Now I gotta wait for this car to look at. Why? How many times do you need to rev the engine? It's on. Why? That is so. It is the epitome of self-indulgency. To rev the engine. What is he doing? He's not going anywhere. He's just revving the engine. What are you waiting for? What are you trying to prove? Oh, now he's finally leaving. Jeez. Got to turn this into a 5-act Shakespearean tragedy here. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, and he's got the black license plates. And he's got the black California license plates the customized license plates that probably say, Dragon. You know what that license plate doesn't say? I'll tell you right now what it doesn't say. Car Passion. It doesn't say that at all. That is not the car. That is not the Car Passion car. I'll tell you that right now. Closest thing to a Car Passion car would probably be a Honda Fit, I would think. Or maybe a Volkswagen Beetle. That's where you put Car Passion. Car Passion, I think, could also be artificially created carp that you eat. Carp passion. We're saving the carp by giving you something great to eat. We artificially created this carp. We grew this carp in a lab. This carp, not only is it delicious, but it also does accounts receivable and accounts payable, and it's also part raptor. Carp Raptor Passion. That's what it is. That's how we're going to sell it in our quest for purity. How was Arm & Hammer formed? Well, Douglas Arm and Jim Hammer came to an agreement. I think that on the tube of toothpaste it said it's naturally powered by baking soda. If it's in a tube, it's not natural. If it's in a tube, it's not natural. Is it in a tube? Yes. Then it's not natural. If it is in a tube, it is not natural. Though, one would argue, if I were to play devil's advocate with myself here, that everything is natural. Well, that building's not natural, but it is composed of the same molecules as everything else in the universe. So you could make the argument that it is natural. Those microplastics we're injecting, and putting into our bodies, that's not natural. Yes, it is natural. It's just in nature when things kill other things in nature. It is natural. There are animals in nature that are stupid, and they do stupid things, and that is natural. So it actually, when you think about it, the microplastics are all natural. It's natural that there's enough stupid people, there's enough, things become extinct. The dinosaurs, not that they were probably a lot less stupid in some ways, but the asteroid hit and none of them knew how to build an air conditioned system or create a habitat where they could survive. They're too stupid. And off they went. We, on the other hand, could create all of that, but we're also creating microplastics that we're putting into our bodies, which I think in many ways is even more stupid. I'm feeling all right. There's a lot of background noise, I can tell. An enormous amount of background noise. This is not the ideal place to record that podcast. Giant truck just drove by me. I wonder if here's the thing I've noticed. I'll see a truck. It's a giant truck. It's a massive truck, but it's clean. And I'm sitting there going, do they even use that ever? Have you used that to lift anything more than a Snickers bar? And maybe they're just coming from the car wash, and maybe, they want to take very good care of the truck. Fine, that's fine. But I feel like a truck should always kind of look... I question trucks that don't look dirty. And I, of all people, shouldn't even be judging. And the other thing that's weird, too, is that I'm in a parking garage right now, but my voice is a bit hushed because I'm afraid that someone is going to overhear me recording this podcast, and they're going to judge me. Why am I afraid of being judged in a parking garage? Why am I afraid that they're going to listen to me and judge what I'm... There was a time where I was playing with my toys, my toy spaceships, and one of the neighbor kids I was doing it in the window. The window was open, and the kid was just watching me for a minute, and then I saw him watching me, and he laughed, and that scarred me for life. Like, it's one thing to be caught when you're doing the thing, but it's another thing to be caught when you are pretending to fly the Starship Enterprise. There's just no way to ever recover from that. That was the day I knew that I would not become a man. And that was the day where I said, I'm not the one saving the planet. That's not me. If I'm lucky, accounts receivable. Maybe, if I put my mind to it, accounts payable. Maybe. Friends. All right, we're down to the last 15 minutes of this thing, which has been an ongoing nice respite. It's been nice to do this because when I'm doing this today, I'm really trying to not think about it. I'm just trying to let the words flow, like I'm a rainbow, like I am a rainbow. I am the rainbow. I'm a rainbow. I'm a rainbow with words. That is what I am trying to do right now. A rainbow which I never thought was really, maybe when I was really young and I saw a rainbow, what I remember about the rainbow, the thing I remember about rainbows is if I'm with somebody, they're always so much more excited to see the rainbow than I am. Look, it's a rainbow. Look, it's a rainbow. It's it's light reflecting off water. Yeah, it's been, it's pretty elemental, really. Not, but I feel like I'm never the most excited person to see a rainbow in any group that I'm in. I'm never the most excited person to see a rainbow. I've never been that person. Oh, look, it's a rainbow. And I'm like, yeah, I can get back to my problems. That was not enough to interrupt my problems. And I know that there are mystical religious connotations to a rainbow. It has appeared in many myths and religions. And why? Because it was something that we didn't understand for the longest time. And we attributed it to some kind of divine sign or some kind of amazing thing. And actually, what that teaches me as I'm just talking about this out loud is that nothing is amazing. Even something that happens that seems like it's amazing is, just normal. If God exists, he must be so bored. I can't think of a worse thing that God would have to do than actually look at his own Facebook page. And he's like, I know all this. I know you got the job. I created the job and you. I know. I don't care. Oh, you're sad. Yeah, we're all sad. Do you think this is bad? It's going to get even sadder. No, I'm not interested in buying that. God looking at Facebook. But would it be the burning bush looking at a computer? Is that what it would be? I would imagine that's what it is. It's the burning bush looking at the computer. And I don't know how it would scroll. It doesn't have hands, but it is God, so I imagine it would just will the thing to scroll. And Moses comes across a burning bush looking at the computer, and Moses is saying, "What are you doing?" And God says, I'm just scrolling through Facebook here, waiting for you. Got to do this at the top of the mountain. I don't know why. We could have just done it on the outskirts of town. I could have done it in your office. I don't have an office. We're wandering in the desert. Well, your tent. You have an office tent, don't you? I don't actually have an office tent. Yes, you do. Don't lie to me. I know everything. I'm all seeing. You have an office tent. Okay, I have an office tent. I don't like to brag about it, but yes. Is it wrong for me to have an office tent? I want a place, there's a living tent where I'm with my wife, and then there's a tent where I just want to be able to go down and, write some things. I don't know, check my emails, check my Facebook. Can I get an office tent? Is that, well, I never said you could. Well, I'm asking you, can I keep my office tent, please? Fine. Keep the office tent. Do whatever you want. But yeah, I'm looking at this Facebook. Uh-oh, people are walking this way. What should I do? People are walking this way. Do I just pretend that I'm on the phone? I could just pretend that I'm on the phone right now. I want to pretend I'm on the phone. No, that's good. That's good. You should do that. Definitely do that, and then call him. No, it would be great if he could do accounts receivable and accounts payable. I know it's a lot, but see if he can do it. Well, I mean, if we have to, we have to. But I think it would be better if it would be better if he could do both. Do you think it's possible that he could do both? Well, if he thinks it's too much, we'll get someone else to do it. But it would be nice if he could do both. That's all I'm saying. But what do you think about? What did you think about the thing I sent you about the office? Do you think he should have an office? I don't see why he shouldn't have an office. That should be fine. Totally. He should totally have an office. I don't think it's weird. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. That's fine. Well, other than that, how are you doing? Doing good? That's good. I'm glad you're good. Yeah, I'm all right. Throat's a little sore, but what can you do? Yeah, I probably should not be talking this much, but we got to get this accounts receivable, accounts payable thing figured out. Okay, they're in their car now. So the reason I had that entire imaginary conversation was I was afraid that if they listened to me podcasting, even though I just looked to them like I am talking on the phone, that they would judge me. So instead, I pretended to have a conversation about hiring somebody to do both the accounts payable and the accounts receivable. Now, chances are they weren't even paying attention to what I was saying. And I don't even know, by the way, if that's even a thing. Maybe it's normal that they do both accounts payable and accounts receivable. I could have been just saying the stupidest thing. Like, what if they were both accountants and they were like, what is he talking about? I don't think he has any idea what he's doing. They're driving a Mercedes SUV. Probably have kids, right? Mercedes SUV. We're successful, but we also have to go to soccer practice. What did I see was doing I saw someone doing a stand-up routine about that when the sports car company comes out with it's Cole Sala. He has a bit about that when the sports car company comes up with the SUV. It was a funny bit. Cole Sala. You should follow him. I don't know what his social media handle is. But Cole Sala. Follow Cole Sala. Follow Cole Sala. Why not? He seems like the kind of guy, if you backed him into a corner, he could do accounts receivable and accounts payable. That's all I'm saying. Oh, man. Got sick to my stomach last night. I'm trying to figure out what it was. I had sushi yesterday. Maybe it hit me too. It hit me hard. I could tell as I was eating it that it wasn't gonna go down without a fight. That's what I discovered when I had that sushi. Oh, I also took a rapid COVID test because I've been struggling with this sore throat all week. I think I've just been screaming too much at myself in the mirror, and. But I did this rapid COVID test, and the place was located like in between two derelict pawn shops in the middle of North Hollywood, and it's like a pop-up test. It's like an empty storefront, and they just came in, and then they're doing temporary tests. And hopefully they knew what they were doing. They seemed like they knew what they were doing, mostly because they were wearing scrubs. It's amazing how much I'll trust somebody if they are wearing scrubs. I did feel a little bit like that scene in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton where the Joker is, they have to doing the surgery on the Joker after he gets thrown into the vat of acid. And he's at this questionable surgeon's location with, this back alley surgeon kind of a thing. That's kind of what I felt like with there. Very disconcerting to have a cotton swab shoved up my nose. All right, this might be controversial when I say this, but people have been complaining about those swab tests for the COVID vaccine. Oh, it's really uncomfortable. They jam it up your nose. I have a very big nose, and let me just say, I can take it. That's never bothered me. I've got a massive nose. Like that's the one part of my body that's like, no, go farther. Barely felt it. The only part of my body that I can flex, the only place where I can flex is my nose. My nose is giant. How can it be this giant and I can't smell anything? My sense of smell is awful. I'm the last person who finds rainbows interesting, and I'm the last person who can smell something. Hey, do you smell that? No. What is it? Oh, poison. Okay. Good. I'm glad I have this giant nose that has no idea that I'm about to fall over. Yeah, some of this might be useful. Some of this might actually come in handy. I should probably write some of this down. I should probably write some of this down. Wow, that's very egotistical of me to say that, isn't it? But see, that's the advantage. That's the advantage of talking. I just got to talk it out. Maybe that's what this podcast should be called: talking it out, or maybe it should be called Paroxycare, or maybe it should be called Ronald Cast, after Ronald Mann, who was always confused for He-Man. Okay, I'm going to challenge myself. There's somebody else walking around. I'm not going to change who I am if somebody else is listening to what I'm doing. I am going to just walk away from them and talk more quietly. But I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm just going to be who I am, but over here in the shadows. Which for me, America, is progress. Boy, I'm sure getting there. 47 minutes. How do I wrap this up? How do I wrap up this 50-minute hour that I keep doing? How do I wrap up this 50-minute hour? I could end it at 47 minutes. I kind of like where it was. I kind of like where we were going with that, but there is something about following the stream of consciousness that I do enjoy. I don't know if you enjoy it, but maybe that's not what this podcast is about. Maybe this podcast should be called Self-Indulgence, a podcast. But if I just follow my line of thinking, where does it lead? The 80s. It always leads back to the 80s. Well, that's where I was born. That's the decade that has a lot of emotional baggage for me. There are things I see that remind me of my youth, that have nostalgia, that should not be special. I should not tear up when I see a 1985 Chevrolet Caprice. That should not be evoking any emotion of any kind. I watched a special on the making of Back to the Future, which fantastic film. Yeah, amazing film. I can't think of anything bad to say about that film. Anything? Can I think of anything bad to say? The fact that it still holds up. There's a timelessness to it. I mean, there's a major diversity problem. It's one of the, here's what I can say about it. They go back into the 1950s and they don't really address, the sheer problems. But then again, there's sheer problems now, aren't there? I mean, it's just escapism. But, it was I like watching the behind the scenes. Oh, and then Jurassic Park. Here's what we got to talk about. Here's what we got to talk about. I've talked for years about this. The climax of the first Jurassic Park movie, the T-Rex comes out of nowhere and saves the day. And for years, I was like, I know this is cool, but it's a Deus Ex Machina ending. Comes out of nowhere. And so I'm watching the making of Jurassic Park, the movies that made us. It's on Netflix. And as they're shooting the movie and they're seeing how the special effects are going to look and what they can do, Spielberg realizes the T-Rex is the hero of the movie. The audience, they got to see the T-Rex one more time. And you know something? He's 100% correct. We needed to see the T-Rex one more time. And frankly, now if you think about it, that same, in all of these new Jurassic World movies, every time you see the T-Rex, it's the same T-Rex character from this first Jurassic Park movie. So it is about the T-Rex is the hero of the movie. That's what all these, like the Godzilla movies and the Jurassic Park movies, that's the monster's the hero of the movie. They just, they never really had the budget to show the T-Rex in every scene. But that's the movie we want to see. We want to see the movie where it's the T-Rex in every scene. We don't want to see the love story between Sam Neill and Laura Dern. We want to see the love story between, the female T-Rex and then the other male T-Rex who works as an executive who just doesn't notice the female T-Rex, because she's not as flashy as the other female T-Rex who's got a corporate jet. That's the movie we want to see. We all know it. Spielberg knew it. I know it. You know it. End podcast.